New York 1924 was an elite chess tournament held in the Alamac Hotel in New York City from March 16 to April 18, 1924. It was organized by the Manhattan Chess Club. The competitors included world champion José Raúl Capablanca and his predecessor Emanuel Lasker. 9 other top players from Europe and America were also invited. Emanuel Lasker met Alexander Alekhine, Efim Bogoljubow, Géza Maróczy, Richard Réti, Savielly Tartakower, and Fred Yates in Hamburg.
E4 E6 D4 D5 Knight C3 Knight F6 Bishop G5 Bishop B4. This counter-turban gives a French winner-like setup that is a bit off the beaten path. Knight G2 E2 D capture E4 A3. Dr. Lasker puts the question to the bishop retreat or capture. One shouldn't automatically push the a or h-pawn to nudge the bishop, but in this case the good doctor has a reason. He'd like to be able to play knight capture e4 but is unable to because of the pin. Bishop e7 Bishop capture f6 G capture f6. This is better than bishop capture f6 in this position. Réti is anticipating knight capture e4. After G capture f6 he's able to play f6 f5 to boot the knight out of the center. Knight capture e4 f5. This does drive off the knight, as Réti planned, but it's also weakened his kingside pawn formation. The centralized white knight was not yet a problem, so Réti should probably have started developing his queenside instead. Knight 4 to c3. Bishop d7. Queen d2. Bishop d6. Castle queenside. Queen e7. This actually helps white. See the note to white's next move. Black would have been better off playing c6, controlling the d5 square. Knight g3. White's threat is knight capture f5, e capture f5, and rook e1. This is why black's 11th move actually helped white. b6 15.d5, hitting the pinned bishop again. Queen h4. Queen e1. White's idea is knight capture f5, forking the d6 bishop and queen. E capture f5 is impossible due to the pin. Knight c6. Knight capture f5. Queen f4. Check. Knight e3. Knight capture d4. Réti wins back the pawn but he's created a problem. He's opened the d-file. Both center files are either open or half open for white's heavy pieces and the black king is still sitting in the center. g3. Queen e5. Bishop g2. Knight c6. Bishop c6. Doesn't work. Lasker will be happy to trade bishops, since all the action is on the center files. f4. Queen g7. Knight b5. Better than knight f5, as it wins a pawn. Castle kingside. Knight capture d6. C capture d6. Rook capture d6. Rook f to d8. Queen d2. Putting pressure on black along the open d-file. Bishop e8. Rook d1. Rook d to c8. f5. e5. Réti is forced to accept the weakening of the pawns around his king. E capture f5 strands a pawn on f5, while waiting for f capture e6. F capture e6 leaves a nice juicy target pawn for white on e6. f6. Queen f8. Knight f5. King h8. Réti anticipates white's next move. Queen g5. Rook c7. Bishop capture c6. Rook capture c6. Rook d8. Rook c to c8. Queen g7, check. Queen capture g7. F capture g7, check. King g8. Knight e7, check. Réti lost his rook and then his bishop. Réti resigned.
Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe.